Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review Podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to review episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Andor. They were released a couple of days ago. Spoiler-free review in the beginning, as usual. Pretty good episodes. What I like about it so far is it really shows the duality of the rebel cause and like how desperate they were during the time. Acting is absolutely amazing. There isn't that much action in this one, unfortunately, but it was still pretty good. The little scene that they had, the music was fantastic as well. It was very intense. I would say the last episode, which is episode 6, very very intense. 4 and 5 did a great job of setup. But yeah, overall, pretty good episodes. I would rate them altogether probably like 7, 7.5. Like just decent, good episodes. Nothing really special. Nothing really to take away from it. Except for the ending, kind of literally like sets up for what I'm expecting to be like a really good finale and kind of foreshadowing something that I'm gonna talk about in a few minutes or so. But yeah, so definitely good episodes. Still keeping the what do you call it, the pace going. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's dive right into it. This is where it gets spoiler filled. Episode 4, it's like we see that it's 1 year after he picks up Cass, and they live in Coruscant now. We also see Cyril has been moved to Gorman, and he is pretending to be someone who wants to fight against the Empire, but clearly you can tell like he doesn't. And it's kind of sad that like I don't know if like anyone believed it right at the beginning, but you can just tell like a man like Cyril doesn't really care for people. He only cares about the Empire. He's too rigid like that. So that was like I don't know. It was to me it was kind of stupid, but I get it. Like he's there on a secret mission himself, trying to find out the resistance and whatnot. So it makes sense. We get to see Saw as well. It's been a year. Things are slow. There isn't much really happening. Lonnie goes to Luthen, says, there isn't much happening, no actionable intel, really not much happening there. Everything's kind of quiet and calm. We also see Bix and Cass trying to live normal lives, but they just came back from a mission. Things are getting a little tougher on both of them. Cass is very paranoid. Of course, should be. He's living in Coruscant, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But yeah, and then we get to see kind of like the Rebel Alliance in Gorman, right? Like kind of forming itself. They're not really technically rebels, but like they're just kind of rebelling against the Empire for their own cause, which is kind of sad. And then we get the mention of the Moff Tarkin genocide, or not genocide, but the incident that happened. And if I remember correctly, that was basically he landed his ship on 500 or so protesters like 16, 17 years ago from that date, from that episode. And yeah, that's pretty wild, actually. It's pretty crazy. And their whole thing is there's a memorial there now, but then the Empire is building some sort of building, like an annex of some sort, that it will cover the memorial, and that was against the charter rights, and that's why they're fighting for this. But also the fact that they realize that the Empire has a huge interest in Gorman, and nobody has any idea as to why they want Gorman so badly. And then at the end of the episode, we just see that Bix is in the beginning of the episode, we see Bix is still terrified from the torture, and she's still having bad dreams. And in the end of the episode, we can see that she's becoming sort of a drug addict, and she needs it in order to escape from those memories and the PTSD. The fifth episode was Cass being a fashion designer. It was fun to see him in a different role. He really does. Diego Luna does a phenomenal job playing his character. Like you can't even say anything about him. The way he plays the fashion designer, the way he goes, the way he talks to the people, and lets them know that you're doing a shit job. You guys are too eager, and all of that stuff. And he's intense, but it's like he's been doing this for years and he knows what he's talking about, right? Like experience. And you could see that in the way he talks and the way he presents himself and in the way he alerts them like this is a bad idea, right? And he already figured out that, he doesn't know it was Cyril who was doing it, but he knows that these guys are liars and they would never go against the Empire. It's very rare that people who work for the Empire go against the Empire, right? And so, well, that's his take on it, right? Well, we see Lonnie, who's working for the Empire and is going against the Empire, but still, like, for him, it's like it's impossible to believe that, and it's right because this man is absolutely a liar. Cyril is just absolute garbage when you think about it. Um, Cyril and Deidre get a little freaky at night, completely dark, which was crazy. It was dark as hell in their apartment when she said turn off the lights for that 1 hour. And he got turned on the fact that she had him followed. That's kind of weird. But I guess everybody has their kinks. Like, what do we know, right? Their coupling or like couple status is just really random and weird to me, but it also makes a lot of sense and it actually works. So that's why it's so funny that they put these guys together. Yeah, and then you got the little meeting between Luthen and Bix. Luthen realizing Bix might be compromised and may not be worth the mission and the cause. So all of that happening at the same time, but then Luthen um, trying his best to put his faith in Cass as well, right? Like, he's trying to see if he can make things work, and then finding out that one of their listening devices in Skulden's, I guess, art museum room or whatever you want to call it, is there. It might get caught is also another attention. And what I love about the show, as I mentioned before, like we see so much of how the rebellion had to go through so much to get to where they were at that point, right? Like to start this whole thing, it wasn't easy. And one thing I forgot to mention on episode 4 was the whole Mon Mothra, segment of it where she's going around trying to get help and like trying to get the votes and whatnot and try to tell them to stop with what's going on in Gormon. And you could see like she's losing that battle. Like this is a political battle as much as it is um, like a physical battle, right? Like this is a war, right? And even in the politics she's losing, and it's just tiring. It's too much for her, I can tell, right? And that's what I love about this show, that like you don't need the action, you don't need the lightsabers. What you need is just good storytelling, and they do this so well. And showing this different perspective, right? Like we always in most of the Star Wars shows and what like movies or whatever, like we see like the Jedi, we see all of that, we see all of that struggle, but it's very rare that we see the rebellion struggle, right? And that, I think that's what made Rogue One so popular, that we got to see it from their perspective, just normal, everyday, average humans trying to make a difference, right? Trying to stand up against the Empire. And this show reiterates that again and again, that without the rebellion, there is no winning, and how crucial they are to this, right? So kudos to them again, bringing the show and like doing this. And like episode 4 and 5 show that like there's no action in the episodes. It's just pure talking, pure politics, pure strategy. It's all of that, right? Trying to figure out how do we handle this, how do we do this, and then setting it up for episode 6 where there's 3 different things happening, or yeah, no, sorry, 2 different things happening, right? At the end of episode 2, we see Saw Gerrera, and then he gives his big speech and all of that stuff, and he radicalizes another person, which is kind of crazy. The Rito thing is absolutely wild. Man had him inhaling drugs or like toxic air. But again, impressive, right? Like it shows Saw's, I guess, his talent of bringing people to the cause and making people believe in something, right? Because he could, like, who wouldn't have taken off their mask, I guess, at that point, because you believe in this man, in the way he talks, in the way he presents himself. So again, amazing, right? And then you can go into episode 6, and 2 different things are happening at the same time. We have um Cinta, and I can't remember her name, but someone else, Luthen's other Mothra's cousin or whatever, working together with the rebellion there to steal those guns and whatnot, falling right into the laid plans of Cyril and Deidre and all of them. Whereas, and then on top of that, you have Luthen going with Kayla trying to get that listening device out. And as you switch between it, what I love about it is like these things are happening simultaneously, and they're just switching between scene and scene, and the music gets intense. It's for the Kayla scene, it's complete silence and just pure talking, whereas for the theft scene, it's like epic music of like just tension rising. Are they going to succeed and whatnot, and all of that stuff. And the duality of that is just beautiful. Like it's not that it's just one group doing one thing, it's multiple things happening at the same time, and they're all trying their best to do their part, right? And that's what's so beautiful about this show, right? And then you have Luthen and Cass kind of going at it as well, right before all of this, arguing with each other, and Luthen reminding Cass that you came to me, and Cass reminding Luthen that I'm the best there is. And if you want things done, then you have to help me, and you stay out of my life, and you leave Bix alone, right? So again, pretty hardcore stuff, right? Like there's tension growing amongst them. It's so hard when you're doing something like this. Like a great example of this was in episode 1 or 2 of this season, where they had those two groups fighting each other when Cass was kidnapped, like those two random rebel groups. It just shows like there's just chaos in the rebellion, and it's so hard to bring these people together, and there's like so many things that are happening, people standing up against the empire slowly but without realizing that they're joining this rebellion. But to bring them together is the toughest thing ever, and that's what they're trying to show. Like it is not easy to do this, and these people's sacrifices mean so much more, right? And then you see that, and you're inspired too, right? Like as you're watching the theft scene, you're wondering to yourself like, oh my god, they're falling right into this guy's trap. But it's cool to watch, but you feel bad for it at the same time, because as an audience member. And then you see Kayla's dedication to get that listening device, cutting herself, didn't giving a shit, and was like, I'm getting this thing out no matter what. Her dedication to the cause is absolutely incredible, right? And then unfortunately we lose Cinta in what seems like the dumbest crossfire I've ever seen in my life. In all honesty, I didn't understand why that happened. Like I guess there was just set up that emotional speech that the cousin gives, but I like again, I didn't think it was necessary. I think that was a little stupid. Should have been fine. Would have been okay. Like it just shows like, oh, these guys were not ready, or blah blah blah, all of that stuff. But we already knew they weren't ready, and they were already falling into the trap anyway. So they already look stupid as it is. So it doesn't matter at that point, right? And then right the ending, right, where Bix finally gets her revenge against the torturer. And what I love about it is just watching torturers get tortured, because they always act so tough, but once it's them, you find out who they really are, right? And you see I think a different version of Bix, a much more confident Bix, and I think a much more relieved Bix that she was able to do that and kill this person. So, and then the cast blows it up. Now, is it possible that maybe Luthen gave them the mission and he knew just to help her, or was this a side mission that they just did on their own? Who knows? But at the end of the day, we know that um, Cass and Bix, they have to do what they have to do, right? They're a team. They're not just a couple. They're a team, and Cass will always take care of Bix, because no matter what happens, Bix is his last remaining family, right? And I think it just sets up for the fact that I guess he loses Cass at one point, and I'm assuming that's going to be the season finale, and then right into Rogue One or something. It's more for him to join the cause even more, give him more reason to finish what he started, right? Maybe Bix inspires him a little bit more and tells him like we're doing the right thing. Or I don't know, something like that. But it's just giving that, right? You can tell. And it's sad because like you're kind of waiting for Bix to die, because you just know Cass's life is just tragic, but it is what it is. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the episode. I thought it was great episodes. A little slow here and there, but still pretty good episodes. And let's see what the rest of the season brings, and catch you on the next episode, which will be the Thunderbolts, which I'm watching tonight. And yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to be releasing that as soon as I get home as well, right after watching the film. I'm super excited. I heard it's been one of the best Marvel movies in a long time. So watch out for my review. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, guys.